Beardos, widows, balls of ghouls, how are we all doing? Where to start? On Friday, the Ouija Brothers released a video. The video has since been taken down at the request of numerous viewers, numerous other channels. Fair enough. In the video, they came across a stain on the floor and some hair, and those stains and hairs were said to be that of a deceased gentleman, and there was some identification. The identification was on an angle, so you couldn't see the full name, just the first name and the photograph. I'm not showing any of it. Other people have made videos about it and blanked stuff out. I am choosing not to show any of it. So on Sunday's live stream, which is only 2 days after that video dropped, I discussed in great detail my thoughts on there. And my thoughts are out there for everyone to see, and my thoughts were, I would not have made that video. I would not have been able to record that video. I would not have been able to edit or upload that video. That was my personal take on it. In the meantime, the cider guy brought out a video, and he was angry, disappointed. And that is his right. I'm not going to say that he doesn't have that right. Now, after the cider guy brought out that video, there was just this overwhelming backlash at me. And I'm like, why am I getting shouted at? I addressed this very publicly. And if you look at my eyes right now, I haven't slept over this, because I'm like, what have I done wrong? And the be all and end all is, I didn't go to this location, I didn't film this location, I didn't edit the video, I didn't send my viewers into the premiere of this video, and if I had, I didn't know what was contained in it. So it seems that a lot of people who are angry, and you have a right to be angry, you have a right to say, I don't see anything wrong with it, but a lot of the anger is being directed at me for not covering it. I saw no need for me to cover it because I do reactions and debunking videos, and there was nothing in there for me to react or debunk to. Now, when I watched the video, and I've said all of this to Steve Angriff in private, as well as on that live stream, that I found that video overwhelmingly sad. Very, very sad. And maybe that's distracted me a little, but the overwhelming sadness that I felt was, please don't let that be me. It was that video where I'm like, I actually fear death. Or not so much that I fear death, but I fear dying alone. And I fear, especially after watching that, not being found. It really struck a chord with me, and I guess part of the reason I do what I do and the reason I go the way I go is through loss and through grief. So I understand some people's rage at this video. I understand it, but I didn't share that rage. I just didn't share the rage. There are people saying, if this had been ghost theory, you would have tore them apart. There would have been a 3-hour monologue about how wrong ghost theory were. I've never released a 3-hour video. I've never monologued for 3 hours. But aside from that, I actually did a video on ghost theory in a house like that. And people seem to have either ignored that in order to shout at me, or have completely forgotten about it. Fine, it was a while ago. But you may remember it. I took the video down, not because of the same things as in the Ouija Brother video. I took the video down along with a few other ghost theory videos because of the comment section, because people were just smashing into each other, butting heads. I by having an issue with ghost theory, divided the community. So I was like, F it, I took them down. People will remember I put out 3 or 4 videos about ghost theory in quite a short space of time, and I took them down. 1, because of the community butting heads. 2, I felt like if I put that many videos out in a row going at them and then they call me a bully, there's grounds for people to call me a bully. So, yeah, get rid of it. And it did nothing for me. Yeah, some of them got quite decent views, but ghost theory videos don't even do that well on my channel. But in that video, Ghost theory go into a home. There is a stain on the bed, and they say, this is where he died. These are the what's left, the remains, the liquid, the rotting. And I watched it, and I may have made a comment like, fucking hell, that's a bit grim. But my video wasn't about that, because I'd found out that the gentleman in question wasn't even dead. He was at hospital. He could have gone home. Now, the house was not safe for an investigator, let alone somebody to live in. He was in the best place he could be, but I didn't focus on the stain on the bed because I don't know why, but to me it was, and that may sound very harsh, and I don't mean that to sound very harsh, but part of life is death, and when you pass away, you make a mess of yourself, and if you're not found, your body will decompose and etc. Now, there are some things that people have gotten completely wrong with the Ouija brothers, and this isn't me defending them. But people saying, this guy was only been dead 2 weeks. This guy died years ago. Years ago, by the look of it. There have been other Urbex channels that have gone there and been far less respectful in this house. But these other channels that have gone there have left doors and windows open, so anybody can come and go. It has since been sealed. The house has since been sealed. And I'm glad that it has been sealed to stop other people going there. So, did I, at any point, agree with that video or enjoy that video? No. But I tried to look at a positive spin on it, and the positive spin for me was, for fuck's sake, check on your loved ones. Don't leave them to where they are found later and there is decomposition in the carpets and on the floors. It was I don't want to die alone. I don't want to be remembered as a mark on a floor. It was a very emotional video for me, but I didn't watch the premiere. I had no sort of input because I was out with the family. We had gone out for a meal, so I'm like, I'm getting shouted at for something I played no part in. But, I put out a video saying, I put out a live stream saying, I wouldn't have made that video. I wouldn't have put out that video. And then I keep getting people having a pop. So I'm like, right, fine, I'll put a community post out. I'm not going to be discussing it any further. The Cider guy already has, and he's done a great job of it. So please check out my live stream from Sunday where I discuss it. And people have taken issue with things that I said in the live stream on Sunday, and that is absolutely fine. Maybe I am too desensitized, but to say that I would treat other channels differently for it, you've got a point. You do have a point. Maybe I am somewhat biased in my friendship to Steve and Griff. That's a fair comment for anyone to make. But in the same way, I covered a very similar investigation with Ghost Theory and didn't blast them for the same thing. So if you're going to accuse me of one thing, and that one thing being I treating them different for that aspect, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. You will also remember the whole thing with Cody and Satori, and I'm like, you can't blame the father for the daughter's thing. You can't expect him to blast his daughter on the internet. I might have done, but looking at recent events, I wouldn't. It's my daughter. And I don't want to be the guy that brings out a video about my personal friends. And this is the difference. Steve and Griff are not the Ouija brothers to me. Their channel is, and I disagreed with the video. But Steve and Griff are personal friends of mine. Like, we discuss family things and all the rest. You don't even need to know that. Put yourself in my shoes. What if your friend has a Urbex channel, a paranormal channel, and they filmed and released the same thing? Would you then be really fast to jump onto the internet and berate them in front of potentially tens of thousands of people? Because most of you wouldn't. I'm sorry to say. Most of you wouldn't. I understand why people have kicked off. Of course I do. But when it's your friend, you are biased. And I am biased. And it's something I didn't even take that deeply into consideration, how biased I may be. But, other debunkers have said and done things that I completely disagree with, and whilst in private we may have discussions, for example, Mr. Grey does a video about Ghost Club Paranormal Shadow Figure, and he has a very different approach to it than me, and basically says I'm wrong. I still don't think I'm wrong. I wish I could get this video together without dragging the third person back in. It's just I don't particularly understand the editing methods or the breakdown or the programming used to break down the composite of the video. I've got to learn all of this before I can put this video out without sounding like a complete fucking idiot and moron. But I don't then put out a video berating Mr. Grey and being like, how dare you have gone against my word here? I am King Debunker, which is a word doing the rounds. I am not King Debunker. I have never said I'm King Debunker. I have at a few intervals say as a larger debunking channel, I feel responsibility for certain things, and in with those videos, normally it is coming from a place of me sticking up for debunkers, me looking out for debunkers, defending debunkers, whether it's the side-eye guy, the shape, mythos, or whoever. At the same point, there are other people who class themselves as debunkers that I have absolutely berated, but they're not my friends. So side-eye guy is my friend, mythos is my friend, Mr. Grey is my friend, Purple is my friend. When I disagree with them, should I then be putting out a video absolutely blasting them for a disagreement? Well, maybe, but I don't, because I respect the friendships and the people. And this is very different to what was filmed. I understand that aspect, but I'm trying to sort of humanise myself because people see me as Beardo the Debunker. Whilst I am Beardo the Debunker, for a large part, I am just a 43-year-old fat bastard called Dale that's overly opinionated on some things that makes mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. You hear me apologise for them. You see me put out posts about them. You'll see me be a dickhead about them because I'm a human being. I'm not infallible. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. I know a little bit about a lot of things. I don't know everything about all things. I get people sending me, images. Could you break down this photograph? No, I can't. Take that to Kenny Biddle because he is the guy that knows more about photography. I don't know. What about this sound? Can you break this sound down? I'm not a sound guy, but I can tell an overlaid sound from a sound that's already in the video, or ambient sound, but Mr. Grey is far better at sound than I am. I have my faults, and I try to be aware of my faults. I try to be honest about my faults. For example, I swear too much. I swear way too much. I watch not so much my videos back because I cut a lot of my language out, believe it or not. But my live streams, my language and my live streams, if I watch clips back that people have made, I'm cringing at how many F-bombs I drop. And it's something I try to avoid, but when I'm gaming, I'm concentrating so much on the game that I'm not in control of what leaves my face. It's something I want to work on. It's something I struggle with. I struggle with confrontation. And not in the way you think. When somebody says they struggle with confrontation, it's like, oh, you don't like confrontation or you avoid confrontation. I struggle because I thrive in confrontation. Every job I've had since I was 19 years old, bar 2 years I spent working in a factory, has been confrontational roles, whether it was security, bailiffing, doorman or bouncer in the States, whatever you want to call it. I kind of thrive, not so much thrive off it, but I expect it and I know how to deal with it. And I've always dealt with things verbally. I was known as the doorman that could talk people out of pubs quite easily. I was known as the patient doorman because he was like, give it 5 minutes because they're a smoker. Once they've left, just don't let them back in, and I am going to put my hands on them. Just the way I worked. Some people loved that. Some people were like, you need to get more hands on. I'm like, I don't want to get punched for, £12, £13 an hour? Ridiculous. I took my licks. I took my beatings. And in some regards, some of the beatings and some of the stitches that I've had and some of the glue that I had put in my head, my face, my fingers and all the rest of it, to patch me up were my fault because of a bad attitude or being overconfident or becoming complacent. And maybe that complacency and overconfidence has bled through into my YouTube. And I've got to catch myself and look at myself and be like, you fucked up there. Now, in hindsight, looking at the other content and the other things that are being said about that Ouija Brothers video, should I have absolutely blasted them for what they did? No, I shouldn't have. I technically have no right to blast them for what they did, because what if I had gone to that house being somebody that does urbex paranormal investigations on occasion? Now, last year I did quite a few abandoned locations. I've never broken in anyway, and I've never worked a team that do break in anyway. I have been with lots of teams to lots of locations after 3 hours driving and realise you've got to turn around and go home because we don't break in. Just want to put that out there. What if I go to a location, I start filming, and then I spot that? Or worse, what if I'm at the location and I start filming, and then I walk into a bedroom and there's a body? Holy shit. Well, I know I'm not going to keep filming. I know I'm not going to edit that video. I'm not going to put it out. But I'm probably going to discuss it in a different video where I'm like sat in my car or sat in here and be like, this happened last night and this is the effect it's had. And then people are going to say, you faked that. How do we know that that happened? We demand to see the proof. But if I give the proof, then I am being a ghoul. So I personally probably wouldn't even say to the broad internet that I had that experience. But that's just me. So what else has all of this drama and fucking hatred that I've been getting, what has it brought up? What has it changed for me? Well, I was already iffy about urbex or abandoned paranormal videos, explorations, ghost hunts, whatever you want to call it. I was already iffy with them after Spoongate, And then I didn't do any abandons until Exploring the Entity said to me, hey, we've got this care home. You've seen 3 or 4 videos. Do you want to come? Now, I don't want to do abandons, to be honest, but there's actual paranormal activity being documented here in some people's minds. I need to go. I need to do this. And I've gone there. I filmed my video. A lot of people loved the video. Absolutely fantastic. But a lot of people want me to go back to that care home. And as much as I would love to go back to that care home, because it's one of the few places where there's things happen that I can't understand, I don't want to do an abandoned ever again. I don't want to ever be in a position where I walk into a house and see remains. I don't want to ever do an investigation or record something where I could discover a body or discover drug addicts, or scare homeless people, or a whole host of other things, getting hurt, really. These places are dangerous, they're falling apart. Do I want to risk breaking a leg and not being able to make a video for a couple of weeks because I've walked around some shithole in the hope that the mould will talk back to me? And no, this isn't the crux of the video. It's just something that has been in my mind since, is for me personally, and I'm not berating anyone that does abandoned locations, and I never will, because I can't. I've already done these things, and I've been doing them for years. I've climbed walls, I've climbed fences, I've climbed in through windows. I can't really blast people for things that I have done. But what I can say is, in light of all of this recent stuff, I am not comfortable going to a abandoned location. And I don't just mean an abandoned residential property. I mean any abandoned property. I'm just not comfortable with it anymore. I don't want to walk in and discover something grim. Because while you could say on this hand, yeah, but you could go to one of these abandoned hospitals that's been shut down for 10 years. What if somebody homeless has gone in there in the middle of winter, or a drug addict has gone in there to shoot up or anything, and they have unfortunately lost their lives through weather or drugs? I don't want to see that shit. And my chances of seeing that are much higher in an abandoned location, no matter what it is. So, if I've learned anything from all of this, it is I am biased towards my friends. I can't change that. And I no longer have the desire to go to an abandoned location to investigate. Now, castles and things like that, we can just walk in 24/7, castle ruins, stone circles. Yeah, I'll do them. But I'm the type of guy that's like, I've never investigated a graveyard because I don't know where I feel on, is it disrespectful or not. If I struggle with the morality of doing a graveyard, I should struggle with the morality of doing abandons. If, the rumours are that people have died in these places. The other reason I didn't make a video on this was I'd already covered it in a live stream. I'd always put out 2 community posts. I didn't expect for me to get a backlash because of another channel's video where I was not in the premiere, another channel's video where I didn't actually promote it. One of the few times I haven't said, hey viewers, let's go to the Ouija Brothers, not because of the video content, I had no idea what was in there, but because I changed my streaming schedule to have more family time, and still I caught shit for it. But in answer to the people saying, if that was a different channel, you would have gone on a rampage, no matter what the length of time is. I've seen this before with other channels, and I didn't blast them. People that I genuinely don't like, and I didn't blast them for that. You walk into a home and something is seen. Personally, would I have put it out? No. Somebody may have died in a home, and I may have panned my camera, and there's a photograph of that person on a dresser or on a fireplace. Am I then being disrespectful? Not intentionally. But it's something that I'm going to step away from. I want no part in abandoned locations. And this has come from that video. It's, if anything, a positive for me to take from that video, that it has made me make the decision. I want no part in abandoned location investigations anymore, no matter where they are, no matter what activity is reported there. Will I still watch those investigations? Yes, find them interesting. I'm just not comfortable doing them myself. A lot of people are like, if that was proving demons, would you have reacted differently? There's levels. There's a grey, not so much a grey area. There's a spectrum, you know? Look at that. Oh, that is whatever. I wouldn't have done it. Look at this. This is a human skull. Boink, poke you with a stick. This is for science. That outraged me. You've reached your hand into a grave. You've jiggled stuff about, look, his brains are in there, and you're handling human remains then. That is why I reacted as negatively to that as I did. When you see somebody's arm go up through a cat flap, grab a latch, and then you go in and spread ashes in somebody's home that is painting the place to move in, that annoyed me. This place is not being moved into. This place is not being looked after. And from the little bits of research that have been done since, this place has been abandoned for a long, long, long time. Alan, unfortunately, passed away years ago. I think they said he was discovered 6 months after he died, but years ago. So does that make what the Ouija Brothers did in their video any less sad for people, angering to people? Well, no, it doesn't. The remains are remains. You know, this wasn't a corpse, but there is body fluid of the deceased. But until all of this blew up, I didn't realise that I was so desensitized to it, because I have encountered this in previous investigations. I have seen people bring out videos with, this is where this person died, this is a murder house, this person died at the bottom of these stairs. And all of it, whether it's a 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, or last week, I didn't realise how much that would make me think, I don't want to do this. I want no part in that. But then where do I draw the line? You know, come to insert paid location here where so-and-so was murdered, or where so-and-so unalived, or where so-and-so fell from a balcony and splattered right there. And you're like, I'm at this location, and right where I am stood, a queen from 400 years ago threw herself off a balcony, or fell off a balcony. I don't know why that is so much easier for me to stomach than 10 years ago, a person, however, passed there. I'm not comfortable with 10 years ago, but I'm overly comfortable with, that was 80 years ago, it's fine. It's a paid location, makes it all the better. I don't know why I have that boundary in my mind, but that is my own boundary. And my goalposts or my boundaries have now changed based on the outcry of that video. They've changed off of my feelings watching that video, and it's boiled down to I'm changing the way I investigate. I'm only going to be doing paid locations or castle ruins where I'm not trespassing, and trespassing in the UK is very different to the US. It's not a criminal offence in the UK. But that is kind of by the by. That's not what this is about. But I need to sum this up because I'm just rambling. But so many people have asked for my input, and I'm like, I've given it. And my input may not line up with yours, and that's fine. You have a right to be angry. That there are some people who have gone well above and beyond, outright lying about me and posting nothing but negativity on my channel and then screenshotting it, posting it elsewhere and saying, Beardo does delete comments. If somebody was to knock your door, you open the door and they say, you haven't cut your grass straight, you'd close the door, walk off like, the fuck was that about? And then the next day, they do the same thing. And then the next day, they do the same thing. Then you don't see them for a couple of days. And you cut you mow your lawn. And they come back and they're like, you haven't done that right. I don't like what you've done there. Do it again. You're going to be like, all right, listen, mate, you're starting to fuck me off. Get off my property, slam the door in their face. When people are consistently coming into my comment section and berating me or trying to belittle me, and I haven't done this for a long, long time, but I am entitled to then say, I don't want to read that shit. I'm taking away your ability to keep posting this crap in my comment section. I don't want to read that. I don't want my fans reading that. I don't want my wife reading that. I don't want my kids reading that. Get out. I'm allowed to do that as a content creator. I am all for freedom of speech. But when some people are like, I'm a big supporter of yours, and then you click on their name because you can do that on YouTube, I'll show you. So I'm not gonna go for a negative comment here because I don't want anyone saying that I've had a go at them for something when I haven't. Okay, I've been around 59 years and never seen NASA footage. Look, that crap. Right, so this is Charles Big Mac. I click his name there. On this channel, top commenter received the highest amount of hearts. There's the top 3 comments. There you go. There's the top 3 comments. I have that ability for any personal platform. You can also go into your YouTube studio and you can look even deeper. You can look at chat logs from live streams and you can get a very good historical account of what people are saying. If those people are constantly lying and berating me, I'm going to remove them. I'm not getting into these arguments with people constantly. I don't want to make this video. I don't want to have to put this video out because it's something I've already addressed and thought was good enough. It's clearly not by a lot of people's standards, and that is absolutely fine. There are people that I enjoy banter with. There are people that I enjoy their content, people that I speak to in other premieres that don't like the way I dealt with it. I've learned from that. I have taken those things on board, and I am willing to adapt and realise my faults. But what I'm not willing to put up with is people then going into other live streams and playing victim about me but then they leave out the nasty part. You know, they leave out the part where they've done a spirit box and the ghost has threatened Beardo, but they go into a live stream like, hey, Beardo banned me from his channel after I said something he didn't like. Well, yeah, I did. And fucking what? I was awake until 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning, just reading, and I shouldn't have done it. I was reading comments on Segs, comment on the Ouija Brothers, comments on mine, comments on 2Ply, responses to those comments, and there was a lot of people pissed at me for not going to a location, not filming anything, not putting out a video, not editing anything, and then when questioned about it, saying, do you know what? Nah, I wouldn't have done that. That angered people. That angered people a lot. But a lot of people, again, and I'm bashing the same drum here, I'm very sorry, are like, you would have treated XYZ's channel very differently. And I'm like, well, I didn't when it was somebody that I absolutely cannot stand. I wouldn't say hate. Hate is an overused word. I don't hate many people at all. But I have a strong dislike of people that have done very similar things. I have reacted to those videos and never berated them for what I'm being asked to berate my friends for. Has my stance on that changed now? With hindsight, with assimilating what everyone is saying, fuck yeah, absolutely it has. My mindset now is somebody walks into an abandoned property and they say somebody was killed there and there's a stain, I'm turning that video off. I A, don't want to see it for myself. I B, don't want to react to it. And C, I don't want to show it on my channel. If we look back at my Proving Demons video with the skull coming out of the grave, I didn't blur any of it. I showed what he showed until I couldn't stomach it anymore, and then I kicked right off. Why didn't I blur anything? Why didn't I pixelate? I mean, apart from the fact that back then I was very bad at editing and didn't know how to pixelate specific areas of a video, but I should have cut the video better. I should have blurred things or whatever. I showed far too much, and that makes me guilty to a degree, but does that make me as guilty as the guy that actually picked up that skull? Absolutely not. I have made a mistake with that video that is 2 years old, and it's taken for this to highlight to me that I made that mistake. Nobody called me out on it. Not one person was like, I can't believe you showed that in full. You're disgusting. People were like, that guy that did that is disgusting. Well done for showing it. And that's not me trying to shift blame back onto you people that are pissed at me. That is me saying, I think we've all learnt something here. Something else. There was a guy in the Side Eye Guys live stream relentlessly. The Ouija brothers haven't responded. The Ouija brothers haven't taken their video down. And I'm like, the video's been taken down. I've got the screenshot to prove that this video has been taken down. So stop it. And he kept going. And then he was like, you need to prove it. You haven't proved shit. I was like, right, fine. I can prove it. Steve's asked me to share it. So I sent the screenshot of the video being made private. It wasn't YouTube that took the video down. It was the Ouija brothers. I took that proof. I emailed it. I didn't email it, sorry. I sent it via a Discord message to the Side Eye Guy. And then I paid $2 into his stream and said, Seg, there is proof in your Discord inbox that the Ouija brothers have privated that video. It has not been taken down by YouTube. This guy is chatting shit. I can't do any more there. And I did that not to stand up for Steel Griff. You know, they're big enough and ugly enough to look after themselves. I did that because there was people trying to stir up more drama. And then those people that are stirring up that drama, you're then guilty of doing what you said I do. I turned a blind eye, but then you were turning a blind eye to evidence and see it, or a blind eye to what is going on out there. You're turning a blind eye to that to keep vilifying somebody because you don't like them. And you don't like me. So there we go. Be all and end all. I will never do a abandoned location again for my own moral ethics, for my audience's viewing pleasure. I don't think it would be right of me to do one. I don't think that everybody should stop doing urbex videos or paranormal investigations at abandoned. That's up to you. That's up to them. I'm indifferent to it, and it is that indifference to it that makes me think I'm the wrong person to be going to these investigations, because while I wouldn't have made that specific video, what if I'd panned and caught something in a camera that I didn't mean to? It's all on a spectrum. It's all a massive grey area that until very, very recently hasn't been touched in my time on YouTube. Maybe this kind of thing has happened before. I don't know. I've made my mistakes by ultimately not saying enough. I have made my mistakes by being involved in paranormal investigations at abandoned locations. And I've also made my mistakes by addressing constantly trolls and people that just can't stand me and want to stir things up, and those people will attack channels I support just to get at me, or they'll come into my comment sections with multiple accounts shouting shit, chatting shit, making up lies about me, and I give those people more time than people who love my channel, people that put money into my channel, people that comment every day. I've been putting my efforts into the wrong place to a degree. At the same point, I'm not going to make a promise that I'll never clap back again, because I will. I'll defend myself. I'll defend myself to the hilt. But at times, it's just easier for me to say, do you know what? Just go away. Block them from the channel. Move along. But then heart that comment that says, hey, love this video. Or, hey, didn't really like this video. I think you got this debunk wrong. I heart those comments. Last thing I need to address, there was a thread that I took down where some guy that's relentlessly been going at me for a while had another pop. And I said something along the lines of, are you fucking thick? Which part of, I have already covered this, are you not understanding? And then he had another pop, and then I had another pop back. I name called him on 2 separate occasions, and then somebody else was like, can you do this without the name calling? And then I'm like, shit, I'm being as bad as him, yeah? I'm name calling, there's no proof of him name calling me for the average viewer. Shit. Right, I'll delete that. While I'm at it, I'm blocking this guy because he's just going to wind me up. I'm going to get angry. I'm going to lose sleep. And I'm going to call him names. So it's just easier to block him. And then people are screenshotting that and being like, look what Beardo did. These people are turning up in other comment sections like Beardo took a thread down after he called somebody an idiot or called them thick. Thick was what I used. And thick. And then in the second comment, I think I might have called them a fucking judgmental moron. That was wrong of me. But, you know, I defend myself. I defend my content. I defend other people. I defend other people's content. It is what it is, so I'm not going to sit here and say I completely 100% think the Ouija brothers are disgusting for what they did, because I didn't think that in the first place. If I did think that in the first place, I'd have fucking said it. For me to now be utterly disgusted with them, utterly outraged by them, and to make a video about it, and me be outraged by that video now, that would be a lie. That would be fake. I wasn't outraged then, I'm not outraged now. But I can see why there is outrage. I can see why people are pissed at them. I still don't know why people are pissed at me. I think it's just a tool that people use to try and cause divides within the community. And I'm not talking about everyone here. There are people that absolutely adore their channel, adore my channel, that are just like, you didn't say enough, they showed too much. And you're entitled to those opinions, absolutely. But don't sit there and say that I supported it or that I agreed with it when I clearly didn't. I made my voice very clear. I wouldn't have put that out. Never. But I'm not, disgusted by it. And I wasn't. But now that I have seen the damage it's done and seen the uproar that it's caused, maybe I should be more disgusted by things. Maybe I should go at people harder. Would my outlook be different now on looking at that video? But the Ouija brothers' outlook on that video has changed clearly because they've taken it down. You can by all means have an opinion of me. You can by all means not be happy that I didn't deal with this to your expectations, but this channel isn't about your expectations. This channel is my thoughts on the paranormal, my experiences in the paranormal, my experiences with watching videos, reacting to videos and debunking videos, and I will never ever please everyone. It's impossible. I can't try to please everyone, because the second I do is the second I sell out. I'm not going to sell out, and if you don't like me, if you want to unsubscribe from me because my morals are not quite where you thought they were, that is absolutely fine. I understand that. That's on me, not you. But I'm never going to lie. I'm never going to pretend to be outraged when I'm not. I am never ever going to sit here. At the same point, I'm not going to say that I haven't realised that I'm biased, because I am. I am biased towards the Ouija brothers, Ghosts on Trent, Exploring the Entity, list any Real Evidence, any of these teams. I enjoy them. I've met them. They're very, very nice people. So therefore, I am biased by them, whether I know it or not. I'm certainly more aware of it now, but I am biased. Can I change that bias? I don't think so. But can I be honest about that bias? Yes, I can. Please try not to get too pissed at me in the comment section down below, because it has been a hellish night. My wife was working night shifts and on her breaks just saw this explosion in negativity, and she was like, what are you going to do? And my initial stance this morning was, I don't know. Do I cancel tonight's live stream? Do I stop making debunking videos? And that was a very fleeting thought, but I've had to have a long conversation with my wife this morning about where I go. To anyone that is disappointed by me not reacting in the way that you wanted me to, I am sorry, but that's just who I am and what I did at that time. Have I learned anything since? Yes. It still may not line up with your views. You still may want me to berate somebody for something that I have not berated anyone for before. My stance on that hasn't changed. I think more than enough has been said. Much love to you all. Beardo out.